Okay, so let's talk about projections then, because we've got the 49ers at the top of one of your categories. We've got the Rams at the top of another category, and we have the Cardinals at the top of another category. So I guess we got to get the Seahawks out of the way first.
Yeah. Yeah. Seahawks going to stay at the bottom. And you want to know just how bad I think the Seahawks are going to be. One of the hardest things to achieve in the NFL is to go 0-17. 0-17 hasn't been done. 0-16 only happened twice. 0-17 hasn't been done yet. I think the Seahawks go 0-17. For me, there's no hope on that entire roster for the Seahawks. Like Noah Fant and Jamal Adams are like your two best players. Well, I guess you're talking about DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, but I don't expect them to be much of a factor because of quarterback play this year. So the Seahawks, I think it's going to be all bad for them. They need a hard rebuild. I think Pete Carroll, after the whole not handing the ball to Marshawn Lynch at the 1 yard line in the Super Bowl, it's just been a decline every year, steady decline. And I think this is what it culminates in. You're going to see the Seahawks be the worst team in the NFL in 2022, and Pete Carroll's probably going to be out of a job.
Well, you know how I feel about Pete Carroll, so I wouldn't be upset with that. I also have them, one simulation I had them winning 3 games, another one 4 games, but which puts them right down there at the bottom of the barrel with the Browns and the Jets. So it wouldn't surprise me. It's hard to lose every game, right? The sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. Yeah. Something goes your way somehow. But I agree with you. I don't see much here to warrant. I don't think they'll go 0-17 because it is so incredibly hard, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did, and it wouldn't surprise me if they only won 1 game. It's going to be a long year, and I would love to see Pete Carroll gone myself. But and that was what I was alluding to earlier with the reason they can't get a good quarterback in there. I think everybody knows the ship is sinking, and no one wants to be a part of it. So,
absolutely, yep.
Okay, so who do you have third in the division?
So third in the division, I think people are going to be surprised by this because of how I talked about their offense, but I have the Cardinals here. And the reason for this, and we can go over the front of the schedule here, because the front of the schedule is the part that's really going to hurt them in the long run, because they're going to be without D-Hop for those first 6 games, and that's a big deal. We saw the Cardinals without D-Hop when D-Hop was injured, and it was bad. They couldn't win, and that could be the pattern, another pattern that the Cardinals have of falling flat at the end of these seasons and completely shitting to bed when it matters most. But the Cardinals, I think I was even nice to the Cardinals. I had them beating the Chiefs in week 1. The Chiefs could easily win that game, but I have them losing to the Raiders, losing to the Rams. In week 5, I have them losing to the Eagles. So they go 3-3 for me in the first 6 games without D-Hop. And then again, because it's a pattern of it's been 3 seasons, it's a pattern that Kingsbury and Kyler, whatever's happening on the Cardinals, they're losing at the end of seasons. I expect that to happen again, which is why it culminates with them having a losing record, even though they have the kind of team that probably should have 10 wins.
Okay, so that's a great point. There's a lot of great points. I had them winning 12 games, but you're right. There is something dysfunctional going on. We talked about that the last 2 years. You're right about that. And with the contract problems and Kyler Murray's attitude and in the offseason, just you may be right. This may be, especially if they get off to a slow start. It was bad enough when they got off to what was 7-0 or
7-0, yeah.
And then the wheels come off. If they struggle in the beginning, it could be a long season for the Cardinals, particularly in this division. This division isn't as strong as it has been in recent years. There's still some pretty good, there's still some talent in this division. And any one of these 3 teams could be a playoff team. So, okay, who do you have second position?
So second here, this one probably not going to surprise people here. It's going to be the 49ers. I have them going 10-7 this year. And that record depends heavily on the play of Trey Lance, obviously. Most important position in football is the quarterback. We're going to have to see how he does. But again, I've been high on Trey Lance since he was coming out. I think he has all the intangibles you need to be a great quarterback. I think he has a great offense around him. He has a great coach in Kyle Shanahan and a great defense to continue to give the ball back to him, keep the other team from putting points on the board. So I don't think Trey Lance is going to have to score 30 points a game the first year of him starting. So I expect him to come in, probably be a little rough at first, which is why I have them not winning 12 games. There, I could see a path where they win 12 games, but I expect him to look like a rookie early, that being Trey Lance, and then figure it out as the year goes on, and this team be able to pull out 10 wins for Kyle Shanahan this year.
All right, so that puts the Rams at the top in your mind.
That's right, the Rams. Super Bowl champions, call recency bias, call it what you want. I think all they did was get better this year. You brought in Allen Robinson. Is he better than OBJ? No, but they're going to be able to use Allen Robinson right away. And I think that matters. But you also bring in Bobby Wagner on the defense. You lose Von Miller, so the pass rush gets a little worse. But Bobby Wagner is a big-time player for that defense. So a little give and take there. I think 15-2 is realistic. Usually I have teams at 15-2, 14-2 a couple years ago. And I feel like it's not realistic, but 15-2 feels pretty realistic for the Rams. They're loaded on both sides of the ball, and there's not really a weak link on the team when you look at all the starters. So for me, the Rams feel like the best team in the league, and I think 15-2 shows that.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I'm a coach's fan, and Sean McVay has put together a real juggernaut here. And we're not far off either. So I had the Rams at 14-3, and I also had the 49ers at 10-7. So we differed a little bit on the Cardinals, but I didn't take into consideration those other points you made. And I also agree. I think the Rams are one of the best, if not the best team, at least one of the top four. Definitely NFC Championship material, without a doubt.
Yeah, it just feels like they're destined to get back there.